Good morning. Wanted to brief you all on an incident that just occurred here at the elections office, Bexar County Elections Office. Earlier this morning, we received an emergency call that a 24-year-old man barged into the facility here. Actually, I'm told, jumped over the counter with a handgun in his hand. He indicated that he was being chased. Initially, the information that we were given that this young man was staying at this hotel behind you all, and that there may have been a drug deal gone bad that resulted in some shooting within the room. Now we're thinking it might appear that this young man was suffering some sort of a drug-induced incident that may have resulted in not only some hallucinations, but he did fire some shots within the room. Once we got closer to the room, SAPD did a great job of hooking up with our SWAT units. Our SWAT units were in the area, and between the two agencies, we cleared not just the elections office, we secured it, but we also secured and are in the process of clearing the hotel. What we can see in the young man's room at this point is drugs in plain view. It appears to be probably high-grade marijuana, but additionally, we found a high-capacity magazine for the handgun that he was in possession of, which is a 9mm. We are in the process of canvassing rooms because we do believe, or we did see, that the bullets that he was firing within the room did penetrate other rooms within the hotel, and so we're making sure that everybody's okay and accounted for as far as the other guests. The hotel management's been great. They're assisting us with everything that we need. We are in the process, however, of, although we see some things in plain view in his room, we're still going through the process of getting a search warrant to go into the room formally and process whatever else may be in there. But that's what we have found thus far. Esta mañana nosotros recibimos una llamada de emergencia en la oficina de elecciones que está aquí en la calle Frío por un reporte de un hombre que entró a la oficina, estaba armado con una pistola y pues él les estaba diciendo que alguien lo estaba persiguiendo. Nuestros oficiales llegaron, nuestro equipo de SWAT llegaron bien pronto. Ellos estaban en patrulla en el centro de la ciudad, pero también se juntaron con oficiales del Departamento de Policía de San Antonio, el SAPD. Entre los oficiales de las dos agencias trabajaron efectivamente y checaron el edificio de elecciones, pero también el hotel. Lo que nosotros pensábamos en los momentos tempranos de la situación fue que nosotros pensábamos que era una transacción de drogas, que pues algo pasó y empezaron el tiroteo. Lo que se aparenta ahorita es que pensamos que el hombre estaba teniendo un incidente mental a causa de las drogas que él estaba tomando, y pensamos que él estaba solo cuando él empezó a disparar hacia las paredes del hotel. Nosotros sabemos que hay drogas dentro del cuarto de él, pero también sabemos que algunos de los balazos que él puso entraron a otros cuartos. Entonces en estos momentos todavía estamos checando los huéspedes del hotel para asegurar que todos están seguros y que nadie sufrió heridas. En estos momentos no pensamos que alguien sufrió heridas, afortunadamente, pero todavía estamos checando. I'll open it up to whatever questions you might have. No pensamos que tiró acá, solamente fue en el cuarto del hotel, pero sí sabemos también que el hombre tiene una orden de arresto de algo antes de esto por un robo de un carro. Entonces él se va a enfrentar a lo menos con esos cargos, pero también será posible que él se va a enfrentar con cargos de las drogas en el cuarto y también disparar. Sabemos que es un hombre de 24 años, es afroamericano. El hombre tiene 24 años de edad.
Was he tackled inside the building?
You know, I don't know that he was tackled, but I know that he was secured. What we know is that Senator Jose Menendez was actually in the building. He was having a meeting with the elections administrator over something totally unrelated, but thankfully the senator was in the back of the building. He and I actually just spoke on the phone, and he mentioned that our deputies and the officers were here before he even realized what was going on in the back. So thankfully, Jackie Callanan, the elections administrator, and the senator were in the back, and although they were having a meeting at this time, nobody was hurt, and I know that our first responders did a great job of getting in, but I don't know if he was tackled prior to deputies arriving. Well, my understanding is he penetrated quite a ways in. He may have actually gone over the counter at some point into the secured area, which and he was armed. He had the gun in his hand. So, man, we're just thankfully that this situation worked out, and nobody was hurt.
Did you put the gun down? Did somebody?
I don't know if he was disarmed, but I do know that he is now disarmed and he's secured. What I mentioned in the Spanish soundbite is that he actually already had a felony warrant for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and so he is going to be facing charges for that as well.
Sheriff, what are the people in there saying? Like, what was it like?
They were pretty scared. I mean, they weren't sure what to expect, and although as a county we practice these sorts of active shooter drills, but nothing can capture it quite like the real thing. But my understanding is they did a great job. They locked down, they secured, they sheltered in place. So kudos to the elections staff that did a great job. Again, we're fortunate that nobody was hurt in this incident, and we'll use it as a teachable moment. We'll see in the aftermath of it, we'll see what could we have done different or better. But my understanding is that our first responders did an excellent job as usual.
Can you tell us in Spanish about him going in and with the gun?
Sí, pues esta es una situación que nosotros ensayamos muchas veces al año, lo ensayamos. Entonces estos empleados, ellos hicieron lo que ellos deberían hacer. Los preparamos en el entrenamiento, pero nada los puede preparar por la situación ya cuando llega, y se llega sin aviso. Entonces ellos hicieron buen trabajo, y nuestros oficiales y diputados hicieron buen trabajo llegar y asegurar que todo estaba bien.
¿Cómo es que entró? Dices que entró y se presentó, estaba...
Él entró, él les dijo a los empleados que alguien lo estaba persiguiendo a pie. Él estaba sudando mucho, y pues ya cuando él entró al área del edificio que está seguro. Y pues el senador José Menéndez estaba aquí en una junta con empleados de las elecciones, y pues afortunadamente ellos ni se dieron cuenta de lo que estaba pasando hasta que ya llegaron los diputados y los oficiales para asegurar el edificio.
¿Sí entró con una arma?
Él entró armado, tenía la pistola en la mano, y ya pues obviamente ellos no sabían, pero él ya había disparado balas dentro del cuarto. Afortunadamente no se aparenta que hizo eso aquí, y pues la situación ya sigue segura. We don't know. It was multiple, but we understand that he had a high-capacity magazine in the gun. I think it was a 17 round, and I believe they may have found another high-capacity magazine in the room. So I don't know how many rounds he fired, but just judging by that, he had the capacity to fire up to 30, 34 rounds. But we'll see once we get in there and get the round count. And again, I'm going to make sure that we check every room to make sure that nobody was hurt.
Sure. How much drug was found in there? Does it look like it was just personally?
Well, just what we're seeing now is what they're describing to me as possible hydro, which is a street slang for high-grade marijuana, hydroponic marijuana. But they also found what may be synthetic marijuana, which synthetic marijuana is kind of a misnomer. It's actually, there's nothing marijuana about synthetic marijuana. Typically they sell it, market it as potpourri or something to that effect, and it's usually some sorts of herbs that are really inert in and of themselves, but they treat them with chemicals that God knows what those chemicals will do to you. Sometimes it's pesticides, sometimes it's insecticides, and you mix those up and put them inside somebody's body, mix them with whatever they may already have in their system, and clearly bad things happen. That's what we believe at this point. They did do a protective sweep of the room, so we don't believe there's anybody else in there now. We are trying to review surveillance camera video to make sure that nobody came, running out of the room and may have been hurt in a mutual gun battle. But at this point, we don't believe it was a drug deal gone bad. We think it was a drug-induced psychosis. We'll provide updates if we find out otherwise, but at this point, we're working on that premise.
Was the suspect from San Antonio? Because he was in the hotel.
Pues sí pensamos que es residente de San Antonio. La orden de arresto es de este condado. Entonces, cuando menos pensamos que ha estado aquí por un tiempo.
I talked to some tourists that said that the people in the lobby may have told them that this man lived here in the hotel.
Okay. It's possible that he lived in the hotel long term. I mean, this is a nice hotel. I know that it's frequented by tourists, but it is possible that somebody may be there as a longer-term resident, and we'll determine that. Again, hotel management's been really, really cooperative with us, and I'm sure they'll let us know how long he's been here.
Then was there enough drug for the intent to distribute, or was it just the guy was just personally?
You know what? We haven't completely searched the room yet, but what we can see in plain view seems to be personal use. But again, when you're talking about synthetic marijuana, which is not marijuana, it could take this much or this much, and it just depends what effect it's gonna have once he mixes it with whatever's already in his body.
You mentioned this man had a previous warrant.
It's a Bexar County warrant for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which is a felony charge, and so he's already in a whole lot of trouble before he started this whole incident.
What is he facing now?
Well, he could be facing charges of deadly conduct. And there may be some sort of trespass charge involved for the county facility, depending upon, what his actions were once in there. But for now, at the very least, he's facing some probably misdemeanor drug charges, but the felony unauthorized use charge is what he's got. So he's going to be with us for some time, probably in the Bexar County Jail, in addition to whatever other charges he may be facing from today.
How close did he come to staff?
He was within arm's reach of staff, which is it's scary to even think of. We while our first responders got here very, very quickly, the fact is that an armed man made it a good way into this building before we were able to get him secured, and so that's quite frightening. In the aftermath of it, we'll do like we always do in a situation. We'll do what's called a hot wash, and we'll figure out what can we do different moving into the future. What did we do well, and what can we learn from? We always do that with these incidents.
Can I have a live shot with you?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Did the elections department have any security personnel of that nature?
I don't know that there was any security. It would not have been deputies. If they do have security, it's probably contract security. But I'll certainly be making that suggestion that if there wasn't already, maybe we can figure out a way to harden the target up a little bit more and figure out, is it just a matter of putting up plexiglass to not allow somebody to penetrate, or do we physically need a uniform here of some sort, be it a deputy or an unarmed security? I will probably commit to having a deputy stationed here for the next couple of days. I'll talk to Ms. Callan and figure out if that's something that'll make her more comfortable. Absolutely, I'll station a deputy here for a couple of days. And what we will absolutely do is have our SCORE unit come out, or our crime prevention unit, and they'll come out and they'll figure out ways to harden the target as well. So we're all over it, and I'm sure that Jackie and I will work together to make it more secure environment for her employees. We want them to feel comfortable working here. I don't know. I mean, right off the bat, I'm going to estimate probably 10 to 20 in that general area. So had he started shooting, it would have been a bad situation. But thankfully, employees did a great job, and we got it neutralized quick. Okay? Thank y'all so much. ¿Dónde lo hacemos?
Aquí. Okay. Okay. Tenemos 2 minutos, entonces. ¿Cómo está?